guys. So now we're looking at 3.11 fourth finger march and 3.12 Littlefinger waltz. So there is a technique called left-hand pizzicato. Left-hand pizzicato is signified by a plus sign above a pitch or note. And that means to play with your left hand, the one that you play with when you finger on the fingerboard. But you use your fourth finger, your pinky, to pull and pluck that string. So here's what it looks like when you pluck on a D string on a violin or viola. This is the violin. Here is my hand in playing position. I'm going to try to get a close-up view. So here's that D string, okay? And what you're going to do is just get your pinky and pull that string to pluck it, okay? Just grab it with your pinky and pluck. And notice I'm not using the other fingers, okay? Then for the A string, it's the same exact thing. You notice that I'm stopping my finger on the next string so that way it doesn't pluck it by accident. Same thing. And then I can mute with my pinky as well. So you're not using your right hand at all for this 3.11. And then for the cello, it's pretty similar as well. You're going to use your pinky to pluck, just like the violins, violas do. It's just yours looks a little bit different because you normally use your pinky, and so this should be strong enough, but it is kind of feel weird. And you're going to take your pinky, grab the D string, and pluck by using your left hand, okay, and resting it on the string behind it. Now, violas and cellos don't have another string after the A string, so just let it curl towards your hand after you pluck it, okay? So let's look at 3.11, and we're going to look at the rhythm. We have a quarter note, rest, then 3 quarter notes. All those pitches are Ds. Then we have measure 3, which is quarter note, rest on the open A string, and then followed by 3 quarter note open D strings. So you notice that all of these are open string. So here's what your recording should sound like for 3.11 fourth finger march. I'm going to play it on the cello for this one. Here's my metronome, and I'm going to play it. 2, ready, and play. You may have noticed that I used my pinky to mute. You can do that pretty easily if you're comfortable using your finger already, especially cellos for your fourth finger. But if you're not used to it, you can use your right hand to mute. Just make sure you don't pluck with your right hand. So here it is again, 4.1 or 3.1, 3.11 fourth finger march. Ready and go. So it takes a little bit of skill and time to practice to what it's supposed to feel like when you pluck on the pinky with your left hand because you're used to doing it with your right hand. Now let's look at 3.12, Littlefinger waltz. So here we're going to add the bow and the plucking. So we're going to start, by the way, it's 3/4 times, so we're 3 beats per measure. We have 2 open Ds, rest, then by bow, and then measure 2, we have 2 open A's that we pluck with our pinky, hence those plus signs above the A's. Then we are going to bow the first finger E on the D string, then pluck again the open A string with our fourth finger because the plus sign's there. Then we play F sharp with a bow, pluck once more with the open A with your left hand pinky, and then bow all the way to the end, G, G, F sharp, E, D, D. So here is what 3.12 should sound like on the cello. I'm going to hit my metronome so you can hear the beat. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then I'll play. Get set. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You may have noticed as well when I did that recording or that performance, I lifted my bow when I plucked with my left hand pinky, so I wouldn't accidentally make like a weird muted sound when my bow was still touching the strings. So I got my my bow out of the way to freely pluck with my left hand pinky. Let's see what it sounds like with the violin or viola. Here's my viola. It's going to be pretty much the same thing for violin, obviously. It's just, of course, we're using different strings when we're bowing. So here's 3.12 Littlefinger Waltz on the viola. 1, 2, 3. And that's all it takes for that one. It's a pretty easy exercise, I think. It just takes a little bit of practice maneuvering your bow to plucking with your left hand pinky, and of course, knowing when to mute with your left hand pinky, or using the bow to stop the plucking part of the fourth finger pluck. So, good luck on your recordings. Make sure that you're playing 3.11 with the metronome and 3.12 with the metronome, or at least playing without speeding up or slowing down, especially on 3.12 at the very last two measures when we do add eighth notes in there. All right, so good luck on recordings, and I can't wait to see them.